This has been a process all through my life. But later on, I got to realize a few more things. That learning, self-learning, is the only way that you can bring about change, personally, socially, or go up to do greater things in life. And what I realized was, self-learning is a lot more different than the conventional wisdom that we have. The conventional wisdom is this: go to school, get good grades, go to college, go to university, get a degree, do very well in your degree, in your studies, get a job, make good money, get married, live a happy life. But most of us, I think we have done that. And are we really happy? Have we achieved everything that we could? I don't think so. The reason is because when you conform to conventional wisdom, you are hit with the ceiling. There's only this much that you can do. In order to bring about change and do something fantastic, something above the norm, you have to go beyond conventional wisdom. You cannot conform to systems. We normally do conform to a lot of stuff. What our parents say, what the government says, what political system says, what law says, what economy says, we conform to that. But what really happens is totally different. And we know that. We know that by experience. We know that subject matter experts have always been wrong. Many have been very true, very right. But how many doctors are there that misdiagnose? How many economists are there that have told us and predicted future and outcomes that hasn't happened? We know that by experience. One other thing that I realized was, what do self-learners do? They do not conform. They fight against what is conventional wisdom. They think differently. The reason is because they learn differently. The learning process changes everything. I'd like to point out a few learners over here. Self-learners. These are people who do not have formal education or had formal education, but opted to drop out of the traditional school and college. Because what they were taught in school and what the learning process was a lot different. And they could not really conform to that. They had to think beyond that. Here are some names, and you might be shocked to see them. Da Vinci. Abraham Lincoln. Did not go to school, dropped out of school. George Washington. Thomas Edison. Frank Lloyd Wright. You know this guy. Bill Gates. Mark Zuckerberg. Steve Wozniak. Steve Jobs. Henry Ford. These people, and that's Ezra Cornell of Cornell University. These people are known as autodidacts, self-learners, non-conformists, who think and learn differently. In today's world, we are actually faced with these kind of autodidacts all over the place. The reason is, everybody has the wisdom. They learn things very quickly. They have answers, and they have very valid arguments. If you don't believe this, you can try asking a kid to eat fish across the dining table. The kid will fire back with 10 different things that the kid can eat instead of eating that fish. And it's as good as eating the fish. They'll have a valid argument. Parents can't refute that. They can't argue with their kids with that kind of an argument because it's fact-based. They do the research. They have that wisdom in their pockets. And although the parents are paying the bill for those phones, the kids are using it against them. Another thing is organizations, multinationals, bigger organizations, they look for these out-of-the-box thinkers. They look for this kind of raw talent, intelligent people, intelligent thinkers. And once they hire them, they try to get them to conform to certain systems. And these guys, they don't. They can't conform. They are non-conformists. You cannot be an out-of-the-box thinker and then conform. It does not work that way. They come into organizations and they question not just why, they come back with why not? Why not this? Why not this solution? They have ideas. They have a lot of ideas. And that's the generation that we are in. One thing that we can realize, that helped me realize this was 30 years ago, talking about early 80s, and that's not very far, just 30 years ago, Sony Walkman was the coolest gadget. IBM had their first PC. Steve Jobs hadn't launched his Apple Macintosh yet. Cold War was still on. Berlin Wall was on. Things were different 30 years ago. And some of these autodidacts that I mentioned, they have changed that world as we know it today. 30 years ago, it was a different world. But these guys who were self-learners, who were inspired by ideas, who were fueled by passion, they went about learning themselves, not conforming. And they changed the world today. They're the guys, that's how change is going to come. By learning, by using your intellect. So if you find yourself battling the same problem, having the same challenges, coming across the same problems over and over again, you're not happy with your jobs, not happy with your relationships, not happy with your boss. Nobody's happy with their boss. But if you're not happy with your boss, you're not happy with the environment, you're not happy with the society you're living in. What are you doing about it? Wisdom is in your pocket. Are you using it? Are you using that wisdom and that intellect to change things? Are you using your wisdom and your talent to change your situation? So it helps. It really helps to think and ask this question. Are you an intelligent thinker, or are you just a blind follower?